So friends, you will always feel stupid in a room that does not value you. You will never feel accepted in a room that does not understand your worth. And the reason that I'm talking about this today, the reason that I'm saying this is because I just got back from the mechanic and it was an awful experience. And let me tell you what's been going on. My car has been making a weird sound every time I go to brake and I don't like it. And I don't know about cars. So I asked my friend who knows more about cars than I do, like, what's wrong? Evaluate. He's like, your brake fluid looks awful, so you're going to need to get that bled and replaced. And I'm like, awesome. I go to the mechanic and I'm like, okay, hey, I need to get my brakes bled. I walk on in the store trusting and open and excited to get my brakes bled. I walk up to the counter and I say, can I get my brakes bled? And he's like, sure, we can do that for you. And he said, do you need your brake pads checked? And I said, no, I don't need those. I got those replaced a year ago. They're fine. He said, okay. Single quotes, they go out. Maybe 5 minutes later, they come back. Which I think is a little bit short to get your brakes bled, which I specifically asked for because the brake fluid is very dark. And he says, so we checked your brake pads, red flag number 1. And your brake pads look fine, so you're all good to go. What about the brake fluid? What about that dark stuff that's swimming around in there? What about that? And he's like, oh, we didn't check that. Like, so could you? He's like, yeah, I'll go have him check that. And then this dude grabs my keys, goes out to my car, and checks it, comes back maybe 30 seconds later, which is not nearly enough time, and he says, okay, sweetheart. Red flag number 2, your fluid looks fine. It even looks a little bit too full. Did you put some in there yourself? And I said, didn't look a little dark to you? He said, no, that's a good color for it. Okay, I leave the store. I'm not arguing with stupid. Clearly, this room and the people in this room don't see what is wrong with my car. The fluid is very dark. The fluid is so dark that my friend was concerned for me to even drive to the mechanic with fluid that dark because I don't know about cars. I didn't know you were supposed to check the brake fluid. I didn't know about brake fluid. I up there, cool, right, but can you fix it? No, apparently they can't. Apparently they're stupid. Apparently they're a whole bunch of room of elementary school kids. So I get back in my car and I'm like, this is a problem. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to another mechanic. And I pulled up to a mechanic like 30 minutes before they close. And I felt so bad about it and I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry that you guys are about to close. I don't need you to fix it today. I just want you to look at my brakes and my brake fluid and I need you to tell me what's wrong. They're like, okay. And I'm like, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. Just look at my brake fluid, please. Just do that evaluation, please. And they're like, okay, ma'am, damn, okay. And they open up my hood and 3 grown-ass men audibly gasped at the color of my brake fluid. And I was like, yep, that sounds about right. And they're like, yeah, that's really dark. And I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't know you're supposed to replace it. The people at the other place said it was fine. And they said they should be fired from life anyway. And I'm like, wow, okay, awesome. So, and they're going to replace all of this tomorrow morning because they said, we're scared to even have you drive home on this. But we're closed. We can't do this today. And they asked, how far away do you live? And I said, maybe like 5 minutes, not long. And they said, that's good. You should be able to drive it home and then drive it back here and it should be okay. And I said, should be okay. Are you kidding me? Vent over. But what I'm trying to say is that I went to an environment that one immediately saw me as just a stupid woman walking in there knowing nothing about cars, and I know there's something wrong with my brakes, and you're not going to convince me that there isn't. I also don't know about cars, So they were correct in their assumption that I was sweetheart and I did not know what I was talking about, but I know something's wrong. They didn't care. They were perfectly fine having me drive on out of there with that car. The second I take it to people who actually cared about me, actually wanted to do their job, actually wanted to make sure that I drove out of there, okay? Didn't sweetheart me, made sure I was okay, immediately booked me appointment for the next morning to get everything fixed. I was valued even though I don't know about cars. I deserve the decency of empathy and compassion. But I left at first mechanic and I almost didn't drive to the second. I was like, okay, fine. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm not feeling anything under my brakes, and instead of evaluating them and saying, no, I know what my friends saw. I did research on this on the internet. I know that there's something wrong with this and I need you to do your job. I didn't argue with them. They had already not valued me. They already immediately saw that there was no problem with the situation. They did not see what I needed them to see. And I'm not going to lead them to water if they're not going to drink. You can literally see how dark it is. You can see how dark the brake fluid is. You can see that there's a problem with my car and you are choosing not to do anything about it. Or you just don't know that brake fluid should be that dark. So you don't know anything more than I do. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you on that. I'm going to leave and go where they will take care of me. And I think this is a good lesson for life because if you are in a room full of friends that make you feel devalued, if you are in an environment that doesn't value you, that doesn't celebrate you, doesn't want to see you improve in life, doesn't want to see you go the distance, doesn't want you to be cared for. What are you doing in that room? And it's not your job to force everyone around you to value you. This especially happens in relationships where you'll see this all the time. Girls and guys, everything in between, will get continually disrespected by their partner and they think, no, I'm just going to stay here a little longer and then they're going to respect me eventually. You will know immediately if you are being respected, cared for, treated correctly when you walk in that room. And it's because you won't feel stupid being there. I even went to that second place 30 minutes before they closed and I literally made a fool of myself. But it was because I know that they were going to take care of me. They're more skilled. It's going to be more money, but I don't care because I know what I need. I know what my needs are. I know what has to happen and I need someone that's going to fulfill that. And that's how you should look at life, and that's why you need to define who you are before you go out in the world. Let's do this in the context of a relationship. If I know I'm someone who needs a lot of reassurance, I know I'm someone who has an anxious attachment style and I need reassurance. And I ask my partner, I'm like, hey, could you give me some reassurance? I've had very negative experiences in the past and it's not that I'm going and it's not that I think you don't love me. It's just I need reassurance. That's what I need. That's my need. That's what I want. And my partner does not give that to me. I'm out. I'm out. And that's how it should be because not everything in life is meant for you and not every place and not every person will meet your needs or even see that it's necessary why you need that. So friends, you're not stupid. You're not dramatic. You're not imagining things. Okay, sometimes you're in a place where your instinct, your intelligence, your needs aren't welcome. And you can't thrive in a room that's built to keep you small. There are people who will hear your voice and immediately look for ways to shut it down because they're intimidated, because they don't know how to listen, because they built their ego on the illusion that they have all the answers. And anyone who challenges that is seen as a threat. But here's the issue. The moment you realize you were never the problem in this situation, it's the environment. That's the moment that you walk out of the garbage, out of the relationship, out of the group chat, out of the job and say, I don't need to prove myself to people who've already decided I'm less. Because in that moment when I asked them to go and check my brake fluid and in that moment when I told them it was a little dark, I'm going to say it was a challenge to their ego that someone walking in there looking like me who literally Doesn't know about cars knew more about her car through like 5 minutes of reading on Wikipedia and knowing one person who knows about cars. Their ego was disrupted because what do you mean that this woman walking in here who doesn't know anything about cars driving a car that looks like that with a broken handle, she knows more about brake fluid than I do. No, she doesn't, sweetheart. No, she does not, sweetheart. Well, guess what, sweetheart? I did. And I saved my myself from my car catching on fire. Whatever I don't know what it means, but that's not the point. Okay, shut up. I don't know about cars, but I knew more in that moment. And the right environment will never make you feel stupid. It will make you feel heard. It will make you feel curious, not confused, inspired, not inadequate. And you will still learn things. You won't be learning through shame. You'll be learning and growing through support. And listen, this isn't just about mechanics, okay? This is about life. It's about classrooms where your questions are met with eye rolls. Friend groups where your emotions are too much. Jobs where your ideas are only valid if someone else repeats them louder. Relationships where your gut gets overridden. If you keep shrinking yourself to fit the space, you'll start believing you deserve to be small. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Listen to yourself. Get a second opinion. Walk out. Raise your standards because you're not crazy for having a good instinct, for having a feeling that something's wrong, or for needing something, or for being curious, or for literally just being human and saying, hey, I don't feel right about this, or hey, I need this, or hey, I want to talk about this, or I want to do this. That makes you human, not wrong. And you're not crazy, and you're not difficult, and you're not stupid. And understand that sometimes you're not the problem. Sweetheart, love you.